Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. As you can probably surmise from the title of the video, we are not continuing on with the DM guide right now or the player's guide. We're in the last push for trying to get everything unpacked here and settled in here at our new location, and between that, work and trying to handle so many other stress-inducing things, I still just have not had the time. But today I'm taking the opportunity to do something that's going to let me wrap my head around something else, something new, something exciting, and, allow me to keep producing content for you folks here. And that is, we are going to take a look at D20 Modern. I almost said Shadowrun because I've been trying to record Shadowrun off and on, and sadly, I'm just not as familiar with the mechanics of that game as I am with D20 Modern. A large part because it's so similar to Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder. In fact, it's produced by the same company, Wizards of the Coast, and it uses a lot of the same rules, although it does have some differences to account for the fact that it is a modern day setting. So, let's go ahead and just dive right into it. I love this game. I mean, what is it? Well, it is one of the most fun, imaginative, creative, diversified setting sort of things that's just an absolute broken ass mess that you could ever hope to dive into. I mean, I can see what they were going for with this. I mean, they kept the rules a bit loose. Well, they kept the setting and some of the stuff a bit loose to make it flexible in order for it to be able to adapt to so many different things. And certainly they released so many different splat books to help support this, to help expand the content. I mean, you have things like D20 Past, D20 Future, D20 Apocalypse, Urban Arcana. You have things like the Menace Manual, which just bring about a whole host of different kinds of hostile and friendly NPC factions, monsters, creatures, so many different things. This book itself right here actually has a couple of different setting options. You have your standard action hero movie kind of setting. You have your Shadow Chaser setting, which is, think like Supernatural or Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or anything that's set in the modern day and age where the magical, the mystical, all sorts of things just drawn out of Arcana are actually real, but most people just are either unable or unwilling to observe these things and do anything in their power to explain away the strange phenomena they saw, rather than admit to themselves monsters are real and magic is real. And the books like D20 Apocalypse, they have different settings for apocalyptic scenarios. So you have things like just your regular old viral plague or zombie outbreaks, or your Mad Max style scenarios, or even Armageddon. The aftermath of Armageddon is a possibility for a playable setting. This book is so rich with opportunities to throw different kinds of scenarios at your players. Hell, for myself and my friends, one of the biggest problems we've ever had with this is trying to restrain ourselves from getting too many different campaigns going and letting ourselves kind of get lost in the mix there. I mean, at a certain point, trying to keep track of that many characters gets to be a pain in the ass. I mean, there's a lot to really love here. So, what's the problem? Why do I say it's such a broken ass mess? Well, because there's so many different settings, there's a lot of work that actually needs to go into making things work properly, and also there's not a whole lot of balance especially when it comes to how a lot of the classes function and operate. For starters, there are 3 tiers of classes. You have your base classes, of which there are 6. And the classes are left very, very generic, like very open-ended. And I think this is where a lot of people kind of get lost or disinterested, is that they're so bland. That's done so that there's, again, that level of flexibility there for you to envision how you want to build your characters. but we'll come back to that in a moment. The second tier is the advanced classes, and this is where the characters really start to become much more defined beyond what the base classes are. Any of the advanced classes, you need to be at least level 3 to get into them, and that's assuming you pick the right class. Like, say you want to be a martial artist, you need to go into strong hero, and then you need to have the appropriate feats like combat martial arts or defensive martial arts, plus a couple of associated skills built up to the required levels, which, level 3 strong hero should be able to get into it pretty quick and easy. That doesn't mean that a fast hero, tough hero, smart, dedicated, or charismatic hero can't build their way into being the martial arts advanced class. It's just the strong hero is the fastest way into it. And the same can be said for any of the other advanced classes as well. And like I said, this is where the characters will really start to define themselves much more. Some of the classes, because you're more defined, are much more limited in what they can do than others, and some don't really give you that great of a benefit overall. Or there are other classes that do similar things better and have a broader range of mechanical benefit that can be derived from than, say, other classes might. And some are just plain boring sounding, if I'm being honest. But then again, after that, you have your prestige classes. Now, these are going to be things like Holy or Unholy Knight, Archmage, Artificer, things like that. Things that really come into their own as a pinnacle, but they're more specifically defined. Now, by their definition, they're generally more powerful than some of the other classes, but again, there's some wiggle room, some flexibility, but it's usually not too bad of a thing for you to take one of the prestige classes. So, coming back around to the base classes, they're loaded with a lot of problems. I already went through all 6 of them. Your strong hero, fast hero, tough hero, smart hero, dedicated hero, and charismatic hero, one for each of the stats, and they're all built around these kind of roles derived from the stats. Strong hero does damage, fast hero is a more defensive oriented hero, kind of. Yeah, it's one of the better defense, it's the better defense class. And then you have the tough hero, which is tanky and is built more for absorbing damage, but they're not great. Anyways, smart hero gets the most skills and the most skill points. Dedicated hero comes in second in this regard, but they get some class abilities that give them bonuses to the skills that they do have. And then charismatic hero gets all the social skills and is really good at things, really good at those kinds of things. Now, for your more, let's say, violence-oriented classes, your strong hero, fast hero, and tough hero. What sets the base classes apart, what sets the classes apart from D20 Modern, from, say, other settings, is that each class gets a defensive bonus that scales as they level up. That gets added into the +10, plus their dex modifier, plus whatever armor and shields they may have, and whatever miscellaneous bonuses may be available. So, strong hero gets the best attack progression, gets a good fortitude save, and they get a +1 towards their defense. Okay, not bad. Tough hero gets nothing for their first attack bonus. Good fortitude save. They get and they also get a +1 to their defense bonus. They get a D10 for hit points, whereas the strong hero gets a D8. Fast hero, though. Fast hero, same thing. 0 for attack bonus. Get a good reflex save. And they get a +3 bonus to their class defense. So, level 1, they will get a 13 without wearing any armor, not counting in any other bonuses either. And if you give this fast hero a 18 for their dexterity bonus, which throws into their defense. It gives them a +4 modifier. That's a armor of 17 right off the bat. Whereas, the strong hero and tough hero top out at a 15 if you give them the 18 to their dexterity modifier. But it gets better. At level 1, every base class gets a class ability to pick out. Strong hero gets things like the extreme effort tree, where they get anything that's physically oriented, that they get a full round action that requires a full round action. They get a +2 bonus on that, which, okay, nice. They also get the ignore hardness ability. So say they're attacking something with a hardness rating of 5 and has 10 hit points. Well, they get to ignore 1 point of that hardness, so they're only dealing with a 4, meaning if they deal 6 points of damage, hardness would normally negate 5 of that, and so they'd only deal 1. In this case, they're only having to deal with 4, so they're dealing 2 points of damage. Okay, not bad. And then they have melee smash, which gives them a nice +1 bonus to their melee damage. Yeah, again, okay, not bad. More damage output is great. Tough hero gets things like elemental resistance, so they ignore 1 point of damage of an elemental type that you pick out. So fire, lightning, cold, sonic damage, acid damage, anything like that. And then they can build into just getting outright damage resistance overall, the damage reduction. So, not bad, pretty handy. Fast hero. The fast hero gets evasion, meaning if they make a successful reflex save against, an attack that does that requires a reflex save, so a fireball, lightning bolt, explosives, or auto fire, so somebody's firing a machine gun at them, then it's auto fire, so it's a reflex save to avoid damage. If they're successful, they negate all the damage. And a grenade does 46 points of damage, so that's, average of 3 per die, so 12 points of damage. That's completely ignored, and 12 points is probably going to put down most characters, or at least take them pretty damn close to 0. That's incredible to have. So what other option do they have to kind of go up against that, to make you think, choices. This is a difficult choice. This is going to be a hard decision to make here. Fast movement, which adds a 5-foot bonus to your movement speed. Whoop-de-friggin-do, Basil. It's stupid. Obviously you want to take evasion, and really, whatever character type, archetype you have in mind, whatever it is you're envisioning as a build, there is no reason for you to not take at least a 1-level dip into the fast hero class. I mean, there's no reason not to. You want to be a melee expert? You want to get in close as a martial artist, Fists of Fury? You want to dive in there, sword and shield? Well, yeah, you want to do strong hero, get that attack bonus, get that bonus damage, but you're going to want to take a level of fast hero, because most settings, if you're doing shadow chasers or just even generic action movie stuff, there's machine guns, there's machine pistols, there's things that do all kinds of area of effect damage. You want that evasion, you want to have that +3 bonus. Oh, and by level 2, that goes up to a +4. And you get your +1 attack bonus at that level 2 as a fast hero, so you want to do a 2-level dip, you can pretty easily justify that for almost any build. And then, you're getting a bonus feat too, as well as improving your saves. And that's just the tip of the iceberg for things that get kind of broken. Taking a look at advanced classes, you have things like, just in the base book, you get 2 choices of advanced classes for a charismatic hero: Personality and Negotiator. Personality's first ability is Improved Access. So anytime they go to, say you're going to a concert, you buy a ticket. Well, buying that ticket, you get to make a diplomacy check, which this ability does give you a bonus on based off of your personality class level, so that's a +1 bonus. You get a chance to improve that ticket from from just a ticket to the concert to a backstage pass, or improving your if you want to buy a ticket for a plane, you want to upgrade from coach to first class, you can use this ability to do that. I mean, you can see why that's not that huge of an ability. I mean, it's really dependent on the context. I mean, if their mission, their quest, their adventure, however you want to slice it, takes them to a specific location that has that kind of a restricted access, okay, that might come in handy then, but it's only handy in that instance for gaining that access. I mean, that bonus to their social skills can be helpful too, but again, that's dependent on the DM making it so that that skill is relevant and useful. And really, we should be doing that, but that character is incredibly limited in how effective they are in so many other areas. And then their second level ability is they get a bonus class skill at 2nd level and then at 7th level. So they can pick out 2 skills, one at each of these points, 2nd level and 7th level, as a personality, and treat it as a class skill, so they can start putting the full amount of points into that skill. And some skills may get them more mileage than others, but again, that's not that great. The Negotiator, though, and I am going to have to pull up the class here, the Negotiator gets much better abilities than the personality does. I mean, it's ridiculous, the difference here. So, what is the difference? Well, at 1st level for the Negotiator, they get Conceal Motive. A Negotiator is a skillful liar. He gets to add a bonus equal to his Negotiator level whenever he opposes a Sense Motive check. So anytime they engage in any sort of deception, they get this bonus. Not bad, not great, but to me that just strikes me as inherently much more useful, considering that opposing Sense Motive can apply for a fairly broad range of things. Like, there's a lot of situations where people are going to be trying to detect if you're lying or not, which that's useful. It's not super useful, but it is. I feel like that's more useful. But then 2nd level, react first. Starting at 2nd level, a Negotiator gains the ability to react first when trying to make a deal or mediate a settlement. The Negotiator must make contact and speak to the participants prior to the start of combat. If he does this, he gains a free readied action that allows him to make either a move or attack action if either side in the negotiation, other than the Negotiator, decides to start hostilities. The Negotiator gets to act before any initiative effects are made, in effect giving him the benefit of surprise. That's actually a pretty incredible ability, because normally a surprise round, you only get that if you are attacking from stealth or some situation where combat's not expected. This makes it so that even though hostilities may be starting, if you're a Negotiator and you go, whoa, calm down, this isn't what we want. We want to ease things down. Let's cut a deal here. Let's make a trade. Let's do something other than just mindlessly killing each other. Doing that, you get a free readied action, so that way if things are about to break out anyways, you can still act in a surprise round effectively, and that you can use that to throw a couple of grenades, smoke bombs, shoot somebody, so many other things that allow you to open up. And that's even if your side is the one that takes the initiative and decides to start things, or if they can take the initiative and start things, rather. I mean, that's pretty useful, especially since, that ties in pretty nicely with the Negotiator trying to lie. I mean, your character doesn't even really necessarily have to be a Negotiator. They can take that class as building into an archetype, like, say, take smugglers, for example. Let's take the classic quintessential smuggler archetype, Han Solo. That moment when he's sitting down with Greedo in the cantina, he's trying to negotiate with him. He started off negotiating and trying to avoid violence, but the whole time he's getting ready and setting up his blaster to start shooting, and he takes that opportunity to shoot first. That's that ready to action right there. That's exactly what you want to do, and Greedo had no idea. So basically Han was trying to negotiate if he could, but he was also stalling, so he's making his bluff check right there, and Greedo's trying to do a sense motive, but he gets this bonus to his bluff check, so Greedo, again, sits there, no idea what's about to happen, is ready to start hostilities, but Han's got this ability that allows him to act first, because he started negotiating. So, again, you can see how incredibly useful that is in a lot of different situations, in and out of combat. You could use that to entirely avoid combat and get things to tone down. Or, if combat's going to start regardless anyways, this allows the negotiator, normally a charisma-oriented class, the ability to act first in some fashion, whether it's move and get out of the way and find cover, or chuck a grenade out there, or so many other things. So, and these are, like I said, this is just a limited number of examples here, but why do I like this anyways? It's, well, familiarity for one. It's very familiar, it's very comfortable, and I'm also the kind of idiot that doesn't mind putting a little bit of work into these sorts of things. And there's so many different things you can do here. Like I said, you can use that advanced class, that specific example there, to build your classic smuggler character. You want to play Dante from the Devil May Cry series? Well, go into Gunslinger, go into Archaic Weapon Master, and hell, even throw in the Shadowhunter class, and boom, you've got your gun-slinging, sword-fighting, badass character going to town there. You can build it all with these classes, but there is going to need to be a certain amount of work. Things that I recommend, like for the fast hero class, so you have some other option other than just fast movement or the defensive tree, which gets you evasion and improved evasion, on and on, is throwing in things like the sneak attack ability for the basic fast character class. The only other class that gets this comes out of the D20 Passbook, which was a much later edition, and that's the Gangster class, which you need Tough Hero to build into the fastest. It's, it makes sense for the Gangster to have that, but it's still just kind of an odd combination. None of the other fast character classes, the base or the advanced, get any sort of a sneak attack. It's bizarre. You think they would have done that, but there's a lot of odd choices here, and there's plenty to not like, and I don't blame people for not liking them. And hell, go into any forums or message boards and look around D20 Modern and look up their vehicle rules. Nobody likes them. And hell, in the, 18 years or so that I've been playing this game off and on, I've never once used the vehicle rules out of this book. That's how much they suck. Most people recommend you use the D20 Star Wars rules for vehicle movement. They work much better. But that's just my take. I love the flexibility. I love the different options and the customization. And I love the range of possibilities that you get out of this game. It makes it worthwhile for me. I'm currently running this for a group of friends. We're doing a Shadow Chasers oriented campaign. I mean, there's a lot that Wizards of the Coast can capitalize on with this, and I've got 2 words for you to kind of emphasize and hopefully sell you on this. Biker wizards. Biker wizard gangs. I mean, come on, what's not to love about that? It's very evocative imagery right there. And no, the wizards are not they're not driving the bikes. They could be, but better yet, why not have their bodyguard driving the bike, and they're sitting in the sidecar, weaving their spells, preparing their magic items, getting ready to use scrolls. It's incredible. I love it. I really I used the idea, in fact. I liked it. The whole party liked it. It was a blast. Great combat encounter. Just so much fun. But that's been my take. I will probably revisit this and go into a bit more specific detail on different things that I like and don't like from here. But if you haven't played it, sadly, I don't believe this is in print anymore, and there haven't been any real later editions. The last edition I remember seeing actually kind of got rolled up and folded into 4th edition. It is a very unceremonious and unfortunate demise for the D20 Modern setting. I hope it comes back someday, but for now, this is available mostly secondhand if you can find it. Not that I recommend you go through any sites for any downloads and the like, but it's probably going to be your best bet for finding a copy of some sort of digital download of it. I don't think Wizards even still sells it as a digital download, but maybe it's worth a look. Go try to get it through legitimate sources if at all possible, where possible. It's definitely the best and safer choice. But with that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. And if any of you have played D20 Modern before, why not share some of your favorite stories down below, or share things that you liked or didn't like. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. But again, I've been your master of lore. Hopefully I'll be getting around to doing more stuff, resuming our regularly scheduled programming, but for now, thank you all very much for your time, and you all have yourselves a good night.